All right, so we're going to attempt to do this all in one little phase here. I'm going to pull out all the trees just to make this really simplistic in terms of visualization. So the trees are just going to displace to here. Now, what we have going on right here is we're going to have an assault. I'm going to forget about shooting and all that because we're basically at the end of the game. So we're going to go straight to an assault. And there's only one platoon eligible or in range of an assault. Basically, on assault, what happens is you move 12 and you assault 4. So you basically need to be within 16 inches for the tanks or 10 inches for the infantry. So the one tank platoon is in a position to launch an assault. So what you do when you're about to launch an assault is you need to make sure you're in a position to launch an assault. So don't forget in the move phase to get within assaulting range. So we're going to go through the move phase really quickly, and I'm only going to worry about this one tank platoon. So these Russian tanks are going to move up, and they're going to move up to be outside of 2 inches. So he's going to come right through this area here, crashing through, right in between the cart. There you go. Making sure to stay outside of 2 inches, because he cannot get within 2 inches until, of course, comes through the assault phase. These guys here are going to move up, and he can get closer than 2 inches to the tank, but not to the infantry. So make sure he stays outside of 2. This guy's going to come up and be here. This guy's going to come up. Again, I'm measuring center to center. This guy here is going to come here. And this guy here, to maintain some coherency, is going to zip right around this place. There. Now he is within 6 here to link up this group. Now this is the commander, the HQ, and then this is the platoon here. So they're all linked up, and I wanted to bring the HQ into command range of them. I want him in the assault. So now here we have the Germans. They're in this gone to ground position. They are not pinned, which is lucky for them, and they're surrounded. But luckily they have a Tiger tank in there helping out and potentially lending some defensive fire capabilities. Now the assault summary is very lengthy, but I will walk you through. So in step 1, you need to select an attacking platoon and pass motivation tests to assault tank teams. Now we're not assaulting tank teams because we are tank teams and we can't do that. We are assaulting infantry, so we don't need to roll that. So we're on to step 2. Charge into contact. Move nearest team 4 inches to contact enemy team. Then move the remaining 4 teams 4 inches to contact enemy teams, and move all teams within 8 inches of the enemy 4 inches towards the nearest unengaged enemy or any contacted enemy. Now, only teams that are within 8 inches can make the assault. Luckily, all our teams are. So, closest to closest. This guy is the closest and moves to touch this guy. This guy is closest and moves to touch this guy. This guy moves here. This guy moves here. Now these guys are not going to get within 2 inches, but they are going to move 4 inches towards the enemy. So they're going to move there. Okay, so I have 4 tank teams that got within assaulting range. Opponent conducts defensive fire. All defending teams within 8 inches of the assaulting team conduct defensive fire. All of them. Defensive fire uses normal shooting rules, except full rate of fire even if moved, but not if pinned. We didn't move, and we're not pinned, so it doesn't really matter. Tanks use their side armor, which is very important. There is no front armor in assaults. And if the assaulting platoon takes 5 hits or 2 tanks are bailed out or destroyed, the defensive fire falls back 2 inches. Now, we luckily have 2, if you can see that on the camera, 2 Tiger tanks that are within 8 inches. So they can actually help us defensive fire. If you also remember, we have a panzerfaust team here, here, and not the command though. So just here and here. So we have 2. So we have 2 Tiger tanks, rate of fire, 2 each. So this assault is unlikely going to happen, but we're going to try it anyways. There's 2, maybe that there, 2 for 1 Tiger, 2 for a second Tiger, 1 for a panzerfaust, and 1 additional for the other panzerfaust. Now you're going to say, what about the MGs? What about the MG stands? Well, unfortunately, MGs cannot hurt the side armor of the T-34 85s. But what we will do is fire the things that can hurt the T-34-85s. And we do that right now. And it's straight up skill. So we are hitting the trained T-34-85s. We need 3s. No modifiers for anything. Not concealment, nothing. So let's roll separately because the panzerfausts are different than the Tiger tanks. So let's go ahead and roll the command panzerfaust. He needs a 3 to hit. He rolls a 6. Okay? So he hit. The other panzerfaust rolls a 3. He hits. Then we have the Tiger tank, ready to fire 2 because he's not affected by moving. 2 shots. 1 hits, 1 does not, and the second Tiger tank. Both hit. Not good for the Russians. So, let's go ahead and roll the defensive fire for the, and hopefully I got this right, as far as I know, the tanks can still defensive fire, and they're within 8 inches, so I don't see a problem here. So, let's go ahead and roll those 3 hits for the Tiger tanks. Side armor of a T-34-85 is very weak. It is a 5. The anti-tank rating of the Tiger tank, as discussed previous, is 13. 5 to 13, no modifiers, means they cannot possibly roll enough. The best they can roll is 11, still going to beat that. That means that there's straight firepowers to destroy. Firepower of the Tiger tank, 2+. So let's go ahead and roll that. Or 3+, sorry. 3+ for the first one, that's a destroyed T-34-85. Let's say he destroys this one. Pop. Next one gets 2. He destroys 1 and bails 1. So, let's say this guy's destroyed, and this guy is bailed out. So he's bailed. And finally, the 2 panzerfausts both hit. Let's roll theirs. They are actually 5+ firepowers. 1 is a destroyed and 1 is a bail. That means that this guy gets destroyed here because he's active. And then this one is a second bailed, and he's within 4 inches, so we can actually bail this one as well. That means that because that assault had bailed teams, more than two destroyed, they have to back off 2 inches. Unfortunately, everybody's either bailed out and or destroyed, and they're unable to move, and hence are captured. Victory there goes to the Germans. And from there, hopefully, they can mop up the rest of the Russians, although the game is to be determined. So, hopefully you enjoyed that, and please post your comments below. Thank you for watching. Cheers.